Today, we're diving deep into a really important topic for anyone involved in international trade, that is Uniform Customs and Practice for Documentary Credits, or UCP 600, specifically the Article 30. Welcome back to our channel. Let us begin with Article 30, that is very important for sellers, buyers, insurance, and banking industry practitioners. This article deals with tolerances in the credit amount, quantity, and unit prices. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Tolerances? Sounds a bit dry. But trust me, understanding this article can be the difference between a smooth, successful transaction and a major headache with discrepancies and rejected documents. So grab a coffee and let's break this down together. First off, what do we even mean by tolerance? In the world of letters of credit, tolerance refers to an acceptable margin of variation in the quantity of goods shipped or the amount drawn under the credit. You see, when dealing with bulk commodities like grain, oil, or minerals, it's often impossible to load the exact quantity specified. Think about it, trying to load exactly 10,000 metric tons of wheat is incredibly difficult. There will always be a little more or a little less. Article 30 provides the rules for how much a little more or a little less is acceptable. Let's start with the most straightforward part of Article 30. The rule says that if the letter of credit uses words like about or approximately in connection with the amount of the credit, or the quantity or the unit price, a tolerance of 10% more or 10% less is allowed. But what if those magic words about or approximately are not used? This is where it gets interesting. Article 30, Sub-Article B, introduces a default tolerance of 5% more or 5% less for the quantity of goods. This is a crucial safety net. It means that even if the LC just states 1,000 units, a shipment of anywhere between 950 and 1,050 units is generally acceptable. However, there are two huge conditions for this 5% tolerance to apply. First, the credit must not state the quantity in terms of a specific number of packing units or individual items. For example, if the LC says 10 cars or 50 boxes, you have to ship exactly 10 cars or 50 boxes. The 5% rule doesn't apply here because you can't ship 9.5 cars. The rule is meant for goods where quantity is measured by weight or volume, not by individual countable units. The second condition is that the total amount of the drawings must not exceed the amount of the credit. This is a big one. Let's say your LC is for $100,000 for 1,000 widgets. You use the 5% tolerance and ship 1,050 widgets, which is 5% more. So, to recap that point, a 5% tolerance on quantity is allowed for bulk goods. But you cannot draw more than the total value of the letter of credit. The seller essentially gives the buyer a few extra goods for free if they hit that ceiling. On the other hand, if you ship less, say 950 units, you would draw $95,000, which is perfectly fine as it's within the credit amount. Now let's talk about partial shipments. What happens if the credit prohibits partial shipments? Does this 5% tolerance still apply? The answer, according to Article 30, is a bit tricky. If a credit prohibits partial shipments, it means the entire quantity must be shipped in a single consignment. However, Article 30 allows for a tolerance of 5% less in the quantity of goods, provided that the reason is not a partial shipment. For example, if you were supposed to ship 1,000 tons of coal in one go, but you only managed to ship 960 tons, that's a 4% reduction. This is acceptable under the tolerance rule. Your drawing would simply be for the lesser amount. However, a tolerance of 5% more is not permitted when partial shipments are prohibited. Why? because shipping more would mean you've exceeded the stated quantity. And since you can't make another partial shipment to balance it out, it's not allowed. The logic is that the buyer contracted for a specific quantity in one go, and while a slight undershipment might be acceptable, an overshipment is not. So let's put it all together with a practical example. Imagine a letter of credit for 10,000 metric tons of iron or at $150 per ton. Scenario 1. The seller ships 10,400 metric tons. This is a 4% increase, which is within the 5% tolerance. The invoice value is $1,560,000. Can the seller draw this amount? No. They can only draw up to the LC limit of $1,500,000. They've shipped extra but won't get paid for it under this LC. Scenario 2. The seller ships 9,700 metric tons. This is a 3% decrease, also within the 5% tolerance. The invoice value is $1,455,000. This is perfectly acceptable. The seller issues an invoice for this amount, and the bank will honor it, assuming all other documents are compliant. Scenario 3. Now let's say the LC was for about 10,000 metric tons. This brings the 10% tolerance into play. The seller could ship up to 11,000 tons. And if the LC was also for about 1,500,000, they could draw up to $1,650,000. The word about is powerful, as it applies to both quantity and value. Understanding Article 30 is absolutely essential for anyone drafting, advising, or using letters of credit. For exporters, it provides crucial flexibility in fulfilling orders for bulk goods. For importers, it sets clear boundaries on what they can expect. And for bankers, it provides the clear, internationally recognized rules needed to examine documents without ambiguity. Misinterpreting these rules can lead to costly discrepancies. Imagine shipping 5% more goods, creating an invoice for the higher amount, and then having the bank only pay up to the original LC value. You're out of pocket for the extra goods and the shipping costs. Or worse, a bank might wrongly raise a discrepancy for a shipment that is perfectly within the allowed tolerance, causing delays and unnecessary fees. So my advice is this: always read the letter of credit carefully. Check if about or approximately is used. Understand if the goods are bulk or countable units. And always remember the ceiling of the LC amount. When in doubt, it's always better to clarify with the bank or the other party before shipping. That's our deep dive into UCP 600 Article 30. I hope this has clarified the rules on tolerance and shown you how important they are in your day-to-day trade operations. It's these little details that make international trade run smoothly. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content on trade, finance, and letters of credit. If you have any questions about Article 30 or any other UCP 600 rule, drop them in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.